Morning to you. It's exactly 8:49 on this Monday morning. Let's take a look at what the weather is going to be looking like around the country, as well as get a forecast of what the next few days have in store for you. An orange level 9 warning has been issued for the Western Cape. They should be expecting disruptive rain, damaging winds, as well as rough seas. Those will be battering the province. Now, people are being urged to stay indoors or to take extreme care while outside. Let's get an update, however, from the Weather Service from forecaster Lehlohonolo Thobela. Very good morning to you, Lehlohonolo. But a very windy and generally wet morning for most of South Africa today. Give us the highlights of what we ought to be expecting.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Yes, I think it's a worst time to be in the Cape provinces today. Widespread to scattered chance of showers and rain is still expected today to prolong, progressing into the afternoon. Most of the showers and rain are to bring a lot of flooding, especially between the eastern areas of the Western Cape province, as well as most parts of the Eastern Cape province. Much of that is not only limited to rainfall and flooding, we're also expecting strong winds and damaging winds and along the Cape Columbine, the coastal areas from the south to the east coast between Cape Columbine spreading all over to Richards Bay. So we had to still experience also some interior winds, which I had to experience. Much more of the experienced winds will be over the southern parts of the Northern Cape, whole of the Western Cape province, as well as the Eastern Cape province. Spreading over to the central and the eastern areas of the country today, we're expecting Gauteng province as well as Limpopo and Mpumalanga, the southern parts of Limpopo, to experience some thunderstorms, which then will bring much more of some strong and damaging winds, more than it will bring rainfall. However, the southern areas and spreading to the eastern parts, that's when we can expect flooding, especially over the Eastern Cape province as well as the Western Cape.
When we're talking about the coastal areas, we saw Lehlohonolo just a week ago, severe flooding with the high tides. And perhaps South Africans are asking themselves, is there a likelihood of that happening again? Are we going to be experiencing or at least expecting those level of extremities?
Yeah, with the system that we're having now, it's bringing a lot of strong winds. And with the strong winds, we know around the coastal areas, then it helps with the waves being high. And with the high waves, then would bring much more of the water over the coastal areas, and much more of the beach activities are not promoted for people to do. If anything, if a person is to go to the coastal areas, they must just make sure that they're far away from the ocean and where the ocean waters get to reach over the beach. So yes, we might still have much more of those conditions due to a number of water depth levels being very high. And past of that, I think the main focus would be the eastern parts of the Western Cape province, as well as much more of the province of the Eastern Cape province. Tomorrow, then, we are to expect colder conditions with some snow expected over the Drakensberg Mountains, as well as the northeastern areas of the Eastern Cape province. And isolated to a scattered chance of showers and thunder showers expected in the east, which would spread over KwaZulu-Natal as well as Mpumalanga. So these conditions are yet to be experienced all over to Thursday, and then we still see some warming up then on Friday over most parts over the central and the eastern parts, spreading over to the weekend.
You said, Lehlohonolo, that we should be expecting this type of weather all the way up until Thursday. But what are the climatic factors that have actually brought this cold and rain about?
So we have a system called the cutoff low system, which is an upper air trough. It's a low pressure system that intensifies much more of the weather at the surface and brings much of the cold conditions, which is what we expect over the Cape provinces. That would cover the Western Cape, the Northern Cape, as well as the Eastern Cape. With the further to the weekend and seeing much more of the thunderstorms, as well as some strong winds and rain and flooding over the central, the northeastern parts of the area. That is normal thunderstorms that could be due to heating of the earth, as we see some warmth in the day, then which then produces much more of the convective weather, as well as some escarpment areas. That's when causing much more of the lifting of the air, which then causes some cloud, and with the cloud condensation, much more of the rain over the northeastern areas. That is, but the main system right now, it is a cutoff low weather system, which is yet to intensify much more of the weather over the surface.
Lehlohonolo Thobela, thank you so much for that weather update, not only for today, but really, as Lehlohonolo has said, all the way up until Thursday. So if you have any plans of being out and about in the sun, perhaps waiting a couple more days would bode you well.
Yeah, and also watch out, please, for those warnings, those gale force winds, especially the Western Cape. It is going to be our focus today. Our reporters are going to be out there a little bit later. We're heading up to New